And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, man, Forbidden Door was today. It was not as forbidden as I thought it would be, but it was certainly contained a lot of forbidden stuff, forks included. How you doing today?
Yeah, I hope I'll be able to use forks again. That was pretty gruesome. You and I haven't talked much about the show. We exchanged a few texts, I should say. Shout out to George Romero, a great friend and former guest of the show. So I know some of your initial thoughts on the matches, Brad, but I can't wait to get into the card and hear all of your unfiltered thoughts, fork discussion and all. I'm doing well. I have to start by putting you over, my friend. Now, if anyone has followed us for any length of time, they know that you are a great podcast host. They know that you are a great technician, tactician, all the things, man, and an amazing teacher at that. But I have to say, you are an even better friend. I received a package in the mail this week. And Brad, I don't know if our audience can relate to this, where you receive a package that you're not expecting. It comes from an address that is completely foreign to you. And you think, oh, did I accidentally subscribe to Jet Magazine? Did I sign up for some double good popcorn fundraiser from a kid? What is this package?
Ooh, good call.
This happened to me this past week. This is true.
Yeah.
I opened this mysterious box, and this item is waiting for me. Shout out to our YouTube viewers. If you are listening on audio, we love you too. This is an exceptional planner for the school year. It has 4AZ on the front and then a Rhea Ripley quote on the back. I'm going to read this Rhea Ripley quote, Brad. It says, "Things in life change very frequently. Things get thrown at you all the time. You just have to be ready for anything in this business. That's wrestling. It's just life, really," Rhea Ripley once said. I also want to point out basically my entire professional history is shown on the back from Marana High School to Cactus High School to ASU to Sunny Slope. This is such a thoughtful gift from the one and only Brad Winchester. Brad, thank you for this. There's even tabs here. Look at this. I'm going to be so organized this year. This really came at the perfect time. I shared with you. The school year's been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I forgot how all this goes.
Yep.
And the sheer intensity of it all, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's always worth it. But to start the year, there's just a lot thrown at you. So some of the week felt heavy to me, but by week's end, and certainly with this incredible gift, I felt so loved. I have so much to be grateful for. This isn't our official gratitude segment, but I'm just thankful for so much. For you, for my amazing family, friends, health. There's just so much to be thankful for. And this, my friend, was a great reminder of that. So I am doing well. I am very excited to see you and to talk Forbidden Door, to talk WWE Clash in Paris, which is coming up this weekend. You know we'll talk pop culture as well. I am great. Happy to see you. Thank you again for this tremendous gift. You are the man. It's surreal to see my entire life on the backside of this thing. Like, oh yeah, I have been a few different places. But I'm so thankful. I want to hear how you're doing. What's going on? Let's talk about it.
Thank you for the words, man. When we first talked after the first week of school, part of my frustrations, and we've been talking about, and check out the website soon for a new piece that'll be up there, about how challenging education can be. And it's not always just... the kids are, like if they're struggling, or if you screw up a lesson, or you didn't screw up a lesson, but they didn't meet you where you thought they would, or you get called into a staff meeting. The staff meeting's like, yeah, we're going to do all this really cool stuff this year. By the way, budget cuts, pal. Like, you never know what'll happen. And, you think you have some momentum in today's a fire drill. So that 10 minutes that you needed is gone. And, just little things like that kind of interrupt the day. I don't think people outside of education have any idea what it's like to have to do this. And I know people will be like, "What are you saying? I don't know how to work hard?" No, it's not what I'm saying. That's stupid. Why would you think that? Of course you know how to work hard. You just also know how to punch out. And I think that's the thing with education, is you can't, because you got to do the work before you get there to do the work. I wrote a line in here. in the new piece when I get it up there. I said, I have to work to not work so I can get work done. That's a thing that has to happen. If I want to take a day off so that I can get my work done, I have to make lesson plans for the sub before I can take that work off so that I can spend my personal leave time working. And that's just what a lot of us have to do, because we have to grade, plan, prep something, do something. And on half of those days, you're like, I'm going to get all this stuff done, but you're going to sleep in and get up late, eat lunch, go get stuff, pitter around the house, do a couple of chores. And by that time, it's 4:30 and you could have worked that day anyway. And you just turned out you just needed some rest. And now you're mad about that leave time being gone. And then it's just, how this goes.
It's so real. I remember when Sheila Nakarati said, shout out to Sheila, shout out to all the amazing educators like Brad in Marana, Arizona. I'll never forget when she said, I took my papers home for a drive for the weekend. I just took those quizzes for a drive. I didn't look at them
of course.
like I intended to over the weekend to grade them.
Give them a little vacation.
Took them for a drive.
Yeah, took them out for a little bit.
Yeah, that's so real. That's please, you're on fire. That's so real.
And I just think part of it is, like, the biggest part for me is just making sure I have a plan in place, even if that plan has holes, even if that plan is missing elements, and I'm guilty as all get out with that. I always need to know what's happening, or at least to know what the protocol is. If I don't have a protocol, I don't have a plan. That's just plain and simple. So me cobbling things together, I can make it work. I can make a lesson feel fine. It's just not usually very good. And I think when we bump into people and we see people going like, I don't have any idea what next week looks like. How do I stay on top of it? Because it just feels like it's always the fourth quarter. There's a minute left and we're down by 10. And it's just, that's the year. That's the year. Sometimes we're down by 20.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's
we're the 2024, 2025 Phoenix Suns. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
We're just trying to get in the play-in. We're just trying to get there, and then we'll do it.
Yeah, and I think something as simple as having somebody go like, you should take this planner and use this planner. It's just a good reminder, because like if we take care of each other, it's less we have to take care of ourselves, because we are always trying to take care of everybody else at the sacrifice of our own well-being, because we put so much pressure and, I don't know, personal stake. We were talking about stakeholders earlier, in what we present and give to the kids and to the building and to the structure and the organization in general. Hell, the culture and society, if you want to look at it that way. We go like, this is what we are. This is what we do. And if it's not good, it feels like a personal failing, not just a professional letdown. It's like a personal, I screwed up. I am not good enough. Not like, oh man, today was a rough day at work. Oh, well, what's for dinner? No. It's back to the lab immediately. And I got to figure something out. We have 25 wins in a day, but if we end with a loss, we're thinking about that loss. It doesn't matter if you end the year 25-1. The one's going to haunt you forever if it's the championship game. So it's just one of those things that I was thinking about it. And you were like, yeah, I forgot about all of these things. And I was like, yeah, so write them down. So for me, it was one of those, I'm going to spend some time. It's why I asked you a question, and then I was like, never mind, I figured it out. This was 2 weeks ago. When I asked that, it was because I was already working on that, and I said something will be on the way, but it's going to take a while. Well, that was that, and I'm glad it got to you. And this is right around that time where we need it the most. And I'm glad I got that size, because I had the one that was a size up from that, and let me tell you, it ate my backpack. So I thought that turned out good. It was fun making the art for it and getting all the things together. Oh, I was asking for the 4AZ graphic, but I found one. That's what it was.
You respected the brand guide as well. I see that those shades of orange
Thank
and purple.
you. I'm glad you understood what I was doing there. I was in there like, nope, it's got to be like this. We're going to make sure. Yeah, I was absolutely going full technical writing on there. Yeah.
So thoughtful, Brad. And if I can just conclude with, you and I also during the production meeting spoke about, and this transcends, I think, public educators from Phoenix to Moran and probably across the country. I really opened my ears this week and heard how people were doing when I asked them, how are you, or just listening to conversations. And a lot of folks said they're surviving, or they're in survival mode. Mm-hmm. And when we're perpetually, we spoke about this before we recorded, but I think it's worth bringing up, when we're perpetually in survival mode, in a professional context, often, like you said, if it's the fourth quarter, it can yield some really clutch, great results. But I also think we should speak about the weight, the heaviness that it can carry on us. So, man, we have to lean into having these conversations. And I would imagine there are people who work in education, maybe not in education, in other fields, Brad, who heard what you said, and it resonates with them. That sometimes, yeah, that ride home does feel particularly long because you're thinking about that one loss during the day or that one moment that made you feel like, this is a reflection on you as a person and your worth as a person, not as an employee. So I just appreciate you for so many reasons, but particularly for you saying that, because I'm just thinking through, man, if we're perpetually in survival mode, that's just not, I don't think there's longevity in that, and I don't think that's a healthy place to be in. I think in some ways maybe we should work on, kind of romanticizing the work and remembering why we do it. We often get those reminders in December or in April or May at the end of a semester.
The Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes, but I've known you...
Barnes & Noble discount.
We'll talk about how we met later in the episode with back in the day, but I've known you for many years, and I know there are so many people right now whose lives are better because you exist. And what an exceptional honor it is, not only to know you, but to have a career where you can have that tangible of an impact on lives. The lows can be really low. The challenges can feel really heavy. But my goodness, man, the highs are just like anything that I've experienced professionally before.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, it is a really rewarding career, but it's also, demanding, not just the work side of it, but the emotional side of it too. Cause it's like, I imagine if you're working some other job and you lose a client to something, maybe they're old and they died, or they moved on to a different company. You're probably not going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lost Steve Smithers is gone. He's no longer, with us, so he can't buy my stuff. Sometimes we lose students, and sometimes they move, and sometimes you feel like you let them down. I don't know how many people that aren't in a service industry understand what that can feel like. And even if you're in a service industry, like a lot of the service industry folks, when you see your clients, it's not a good day. We get to see our clients on a good day. Nurses and police officers and firefighters and EMTs and all these folks aren't going like, oh, cool, we get to go visit their house. This is going to be fun. Nobody's doing that in that job. Like, nobody's doing that because you're going there because they're like bleeding or doing crime, like something, like we get to go watch people grow and learn how to be effective people. But it can come with its own challenges, and there
are growing pains. For them.
For everybody, right?
And maybe that does transcend workplaces. Is you sometimes got to go through it to get to what you want on the other side. What's that Monty Williams quote back when he was with the Suns? Everything you want is on the other side of hard. I think he said that in a press conference or to DeAndre Ayton, and then their relationship totally crumbled. But
that's right.
The point is that idea that everything you want is on the other side of hard. You got to go through some things to get to that angle that you want. And how blessed are we? I know how blessed am I that I have people who continue to uplift me and remind me who I am.
Yeah,
I don't know what I would do without you and in our audience who often reach out to check in on us and support us. It means so much, and particularly over these last 3 weeks, it's really meant the world. So I thank you. This planner is amazing, and shout out to Mysterious Packages because I got one last week and it made my day.
They are the best. It is really fun getting those. I have a feeling that I'll have a few coming in soon. People caught my Amazon wish list and at open house, and I'm hoping more tissues show up. But other than that, it's like, all right, cool. Like if I get something, I get something. But it's fun getting that mysterious package. I will say that teaching also brings out some of the worst sides of me, and you catch almost all of it in my drive home. Because everything is wrestling. I am cutting promos, usually on maintenance requests. That's usually all on things that I can't control, but they control me. It's like those things are difficult for me because it's not like, oh, this bugs me and it doesn't impact me in any way. No. It's a direct impact and it changes how I have to do the job. So it is impacting me, but I can't do anything about it. That'll get me thinking. That'll get me thinking really fast because everything is wrestling. And I also feel like the bathroom that still needs to get fixed in the auditorium is like a forbidden door at this point. We got to talk about Forbidden Door, Tyler. What a show. And it started off in the 0 hour really strong. And I thought the show overall was a very strong show. I don't know. We got to talk about that ending, but that it's one thing to continue the storyline and all that stuff. And it's another to go like, well, is this what you want to leave your audience with at the end of the night after like, oh, that felt really good. And then, oh, we're all depressed now. And yeah, cool. I don't know why I want to turn on TV on Wednesday. Cause you just like took away all my joy.
I felt so many emotions watching the show. I completely agree with you. We can start a little maybe out of order and go with what we just watched, which was that main event. The lights out, steel cage extravaganza, 5-on-5. So Team Ospreay wins, predictably, right decision. Darby Allin nearly lost an earlobe via a Jon Moxley fork attack, which is not...
And a spine. I don't know how he survives those bumps.
Yeah, these matches are really interesting, Brad, because AEW does them well. They're just not necessarily my forte. They're just not... For me, the cage matches, the extreme violence, from a spectacle aspect, especially how they can pull it off and ideally pull it off safely. Shout out to them. Shout out to all the performers who make it happen. These matches just usually aren't my favorite. But Team Ospreay wins. We love that. And then after, like you said, Ospreay gets his moment in the ring. The 19,000 faithful in London are totally cheering for him. We know on Dynamite and through Fightful Select, there's been reports that Ospreay's been banged up and he needs potential neck surgery, and we may not see him for a while. There was even that amazing video package before, as part of his entrance, before he appeared, narrated by I think his wife, his partner, Alex Windsor, fiance maybe, his lady, and really just speaking to not only that Will Ospreay is one of the best in the world at this, but also there's this real mystery, and they said on commentary of, hey, we wish Will Ospreay the best with whatever's next. You could see it in his body language. You could see it in the production of him having the moment in the ring after the win. So we're all just feeling this weight of how lucky are we to watch this guy in his prime, but then also this is a brutal sport, and we don't know when we're going to see him again. Mm-hmm. Then the night finishes with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks beating him up. Jon Moxley hitting about 20 paradigm shifts and then doing the gimmick with the chair on his neck and then stomping it. He says, "No, Claudio, I got this. I'm gonna just end this with a punctuation mark, with an exclamation." And the Ops are trying to get in. Ospreay's teammates are trying to get back in the cage, and it was a decision for sure. I would imagine maybe Ospreay was even pro this, like the idea being, let's get somebody over, let's generate some heat versus give me my flowers and I'll see y'all sometime probably in 2026. Let's actually generate some heat on this. I don't need to see the Death Riders anymore. I love all the parts, but for this to extend the Death Riders as a dominant, a scary heel faction, I just don't know who that's for. Maybe we're leading to a Blood and Guts, maybe we're leading to some ultimate end goal, but creatively, I am ready to move on from the Death Riders. And to your point, from a vibe standpoint, I didn't want the show to end that way. I would have been much happier with Will Ospreay getting his flowers, the fans are singing his song, and then we close. But to get the pump fake where we get the AEW All Rights Reserved,
they pulled the Triple H.
Yeah, only for the Death Riders to beat him up. It didn't hit the way it didn't hit for me the way that AEW creative probably wanted it to. And I think in part that's because I'm just over the Death Riders. I would want this match to be the last time we see them teaming up, and that ending tells me that it's not going to be the case at all.
It just feels convoluted about how, I don't know, My question for WWE is very similar to this, so I'm trying to be careful not to give away the game here. But when you have a guy coming out and cutting a promo about his neck and talking about how he's gonna, it's banged up and then it's, well, I might have to have surgery and all of this stuff, and then let's write him off a storyline when you've acknowledged on TV that he's hurt. It's like, well, you can't really go out there and be like, all right, he's injured, he's gonna need some time off, but he's cleared to work, and then kill him to write him off of TV. It's like, all right, well, we already kind of knew this. Now this just seems not necessary. And I was too busy laughing. And it's not because what I saw was funny when he was being killed in the ring. It was afterward when Darby chased down everybody, but they weren't moving very fast. And he caught up with, I think, Claudio with the kendo stick, and Claudio took a stray on the way out.
You got a shot on the way out. Yeah, you got a shot.
You could see him kind of like do the little, like, woohoo. Like, it was just really, really funny that I saw him kind of like hop and go, owie, like, ooh. And it keep going. I was like, oh my God, that's funny.
And why would
it's hilarious.
Why wouldn't Darby and company just climb the cage?
Yeah.
To get back in.
They're like,
to fight off.
How does this fence work?
Right.
Like
there were by the time the ops came, there were 7-8 of them. I just don't know if half of y'all just climb in different directions.
Maybe they were worried it would go up as soon as they went up there.
Right. Yeah. It took forever to get the cage.
So hopefully we get that in a promo.
Exactly. Logistically, it didn't make sense to me. No. I mean, the show was already 4+ hours, so I think that was also part of my enjoyment. Is we got great matches, but at this point, man, let's just end the show. We don't need to prolong it by 5 to 7 minutes. And overall, that was a vibe that I got from the show. Was okay. We saw some of our favorite wrestlers in action, Brad, particularly on the babyface side of things. Will Ospreay going to be gone for an unknown amount of time. Swerve Strickland. Shout out to Rob Wilkins. Shout out to the team at Fightful, specifically Fightful Select, for reporting. Swerve has also been working banged up, and he's likely to miss time. I think a legit knee injury, if I'm not mistaken, and they played into that with Wardlow coming back. Can't wait for your thoughts on the returns. Wardlow, Jamie Hayter. I just want you to spend time talking about your love for Mercedes Moné and how great she is. But when you have Swerve and the uncertainty there, Ospreay and the uncertainty, and then also Kenny Omega, I really felt, Brad, like, oh man, watching his entrance and how long they focused on him with the fans, and I just thought to myself, Kenny Omega, he's not a rook anymore. He's been doing this at a high level for a long time. His health ailments have been well documented, everything from vertigo to diverticulitis. I also got the sense of Kenny maybe hanging it up sooner than we would like. Not tomorrow, hopefully, but there were just moments on these shows with those top stars on the babyface side of things, particularly in the men's division, where it felt a little melancholy of, we really need to appreciate every time we get to see them work, because these are some heavy hitters on the AEW roster that are not going to be available probably for quite some time.
The Young Bucks aren't young. They were off for a while because of injuries, I believe, and just 40, general healing. Yeah. Well, I think everybody there is about 40, right?
Right.
All the people that started AEW were about the same age, including Cody. Like, everybody's about that late 30s, early 40s range, I think. Could be wrong about that. But, we had Tanahashi. This is the last time we'll probably ever see him wrestle in an AEW ring. And I know that the part of that Kenny entrance is probably to honor his New Japan legacy, since it's a joint show. Same with Will. Not that both of them don't deserve it for AEW, but like, it also felt like, this is where you get all the AEW talent that were New Japan talent, that are stars that everybody watching are going to know and want to see. Let's spend some time here. So I thought that was really cool. But to your point, everybody is just sort of like the Hurt Syndicate looked great tonight, but also mid-40s, late 40s, early 50s for Bobby Lashley. I'm not even sure.
I hope I look that good at 48.
Good Lord.
For either guy, Shelton or Bobby. My goodness.
So Wardlow coming back, I think, is a really big deal. Darby is back and looks to be around. I don't think he can be killed by anything. Just thinking about who else is, we got Killshot back, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland are doing their thing. FTR is still around. Hopefully Dax's leg is okay, because that toss off the top looked like he hit his leg on the way down. So I'm hoping he's doing all right. So there's a lot of
you remember that Michael Oku spot from
oh my God,
from the buy-in from 0
burned
Hour?
Into my head.
I think he's younger than a lot of the talent we mentioned, and he's not signed
Not
to
anymore.
full time. But
Like,
my goodness, that spot off the Toa Leona pounce was something that I thought about hours after it happened.
Yeah.
I love 0 Hour. I thought this
Yeah.
was one of the stronger.
it was the best 0
buy-ins
hour
that
I've
they've
seen
had.
in a long time.
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
there was just so much action. The women killed it. We definitely got to talk about Tekla. You've been high on Tekla from the time really she debuted in AEW. For her to have this feud with Queen Aminata, and then also to parlay that into
That was
Hater.
That was fun. They've been fighting for
Returning.
like 2 hours.
Yes, exactly.
That popped me.
I
That got me
don't.
good.
I don't know that the Triangle of Madness collectively have picked up as many wins as they should thus far, but that match was great. Megan Bayne getting the pin. Of course, we're forever in this Willow, Chris, Statlander. Are they friends? Are they not? You and I, they're for you and I, they're two of our favorites in wrestling. Period. So I'm glad that they got some time. It was a great way to prepare for the main show, Brad, and like you said, at least. Let me phrase it this way. I'm really eager if Swerve, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay are taking some time off. I'm really eager to see who steps up and who fills those spots. Like you pointed out, Wardlow, who looks bigger, which I didn't think was possible. He's been hitting the gym. He looks like he's ready to play D-line if the Arizona Cardinals call him.
Yeah.
Wardlow,
Pinnacle throwback.
Shockingly is also, I think it is mid to late 30s, but Wardlow being back is promising. Konosuke Takeshita seems poised for a massive babyface turn. You know how high I am on Kyle
It's going
Fletcher.
to be amazing when that happens.
It is. I'm really eager to see who's going to step up because those are going to be some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think that we're lacking potential contenders to maybe go up a level and fill that star power that's going to be missing. It's not going to be seamless, but I think if AEW plays their cards right, they have guys who are hungry for those spots.
Yeah, and you still have Hangman and MJF. Like
100%.
we can't forget that.
No.
Great
match.
title. That was such a fun match,
Yeah,
man. That
I
match
wish we
was
didn't
so
have the
good.
stipulation with MJF. He still gets to keep the contract.
it's
Once
stupid.
that happened on Dynamite, I was like, okay, yeah, Brad's right. Hangman is winning
Yeah.
this thing. I wish that we didn't have that,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, the graps were exceptional. I
think
don't
it
like
would've-
ref spots, but I don't like ref bumps, but
Yeah.
the graps were exceptional.
I think it would have been fun if he would have won and still had the contract. So if he loses it, he can just be like, "No, I'm cashing in right now and win it back right away." Would have been a lot of fun
yeah,
to watch.
yeah, he's going to be the guy to beat Hangman for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
fair
Like he's not unless he goes in and like cashes in on Kyle Fletcher, which I don't see happening. So I suppose he could if he wanted to. He could cash in on Okada very easily. He could do that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I got nothing. That main event was a lot of fun. I thought I don't like the chase after them stuff with the weapon when they take a wild swing and a miss, but it's not like a near miss. When Samoa Joe and I can't remember who was with him at the time, both had chairs. I think it was Shibata, swung the chairs and just hit the cage, but the cage was like already to their chest open, and they could have just swung underneath and cracked their knees open. I think Darby going like, well, that was stupid. I'm just going to go under it and run after him was like the right move. And stop at the barricade. Like, I'm not going to go chase him in the crowd. It's too dangerous. That was okay. Because the point was protect Will Ospreay, get them out of there. It just makes them look goofy when they're like, huh! And it's like, you could have just down a foot and just hit him. But instead they're like, I'm so stupid and mad I hit the cage. And it just makes them look goofy. I can't stand that stuff. It's little things like that bug me, where none of that needed to happen. I'm glad that it's probably going to be Death Riders versus Ops. I'm always they've been doing that for, I feel like, even if they haven't done it in 6 months, it's too early. I just feel like all the factions are feuding with the Death Riders forever, and I don't know. We need Jay White. That's all I got. Jay White comes back. That's going to be probably I hopefully soon, and hopefully he's okay. I think that'll change a lot of things.
Well, and shout out to Jon Moxley. He's been putting on some really fun one-on-one
he
matches
looks
on Dynamite.
incredible, by the way.
He does. Fighting dudes with all different styles. Speedball Mike Bailey one week. Kevin Knight, the Jet Kevin Knight the next week. I mean, granted, their styles are a little bit similar. But
That speedball kick today. Whew.
yes, he's been working some different matches than he did during his title run. Shout out to Marina Shafir for having one of my favorite moments during
By the
Forbidden
cage?
Door. Yeah, the
Yeah.
camera went to her, and I think
Yeah.
she said, "F you, Kenny Omega."
Yes, that's
It was
exactly.
just,
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, that's.
Yeah, it was great.
I like that, Brad. I have a
Yeah.
list here of my biggest winners from the night that I wanted to make sure I
Awesome.
mentioned here. Biggest winners, number one, the buy-in concept. I like calling it the buy-in more than 0 hour, but it was really working for me, as I mentioned earlier. Kyle Fletcher, big winner for me. He has it all. The entrance, the theme song is a bop. The in-ring work, he's just that dude. This is what I want to hear your thoughts on. My final three. Brodito. I really thought there was a huge possibility of Bandito and Brody King leaving London with the gold, and it happened. I don't know if that was intentional. The finish, would love to hear your thoughts. The finish with FTR seemed a little bit clunky, but sometimes when a talent gets over, when an act is hot, you just got to run with it.
Yeah.
And to me, the crowning of Brodito is a clear example of that. Finally, Queen Aminata, Tekla, Jamie Hayter. Love that we got that moment with the three of them. And then finally, and maybe this is where we'll land. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. Winners for the night. Everyone involved in that TBS 4-way.
Yep.
I so enjoyed that match. I think that people need to hear your thoughts, Brad, not only on the brilliance of the CEO, but also Bozilla, Alex Windsor, and Persephone.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Persephone?
Yeah.
I have not been aware that she exists.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And I'm going to follow her on Instagram after this recording.
Listen, man. Kyle Fletcher, number one. Kyle Fletcher, great vascularity at the end of that thing. He's just like all veins. He's up on top of the turnbuckle, and
He's got it. Yeah.
He's got more veins in his thighs than I do anywhere. Like the dude is just yoked. That was a fun match with Takahashi.
Vascularity is crazy. Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr., Nigel McGuinness. The match was a little long for me, but it was also like it was really cool to get both of those guys in a ring, doing a technical wrestling match, change the pace up, right kind of in the middle of everything. I thought that was really fun because like how often is that going to happen again with Nigel, who has to be at the getting close to the end of his career and hanging it up. To be able to get that was a lot of fun.
No Daniel Garcia turn. Was that just a pump fake?
Felt like the vibe was. I mean, he was doing really heely stuff out there, like trying to cheat with the rope,
He
and then going up.
He wore the all black, and
he went up for the hug, and I thought for sure we were getting like a belly to belly or a lariat or something.
100%.
And then he just
a
got
pump
out of the
fake
ring
for the sake of.
I guess.
Pump
I don't
fake?
know.
Okay.
So
You like that match more than me, but I like both guys.
I didn't like it. I appreciated it. There's a difference.
To clarify, you appreciated the word.
It was not my favorite match on the card, and there were parts of it where I was like, but
I don't know that we need a Garcia out there. That to me, that was
that's
more,
the part.
especially if we
that's
weren't
the
going to
part
pay
that
it
bothered
off
me.
in the moment. That seemed like more of a
just seemed
distraction
pointless.
than
Yeah.
because they kept going to him and he's messing with the apron and he's in his feelings. To me, that took away
Yeah.
from. And I love Daniel Garcia. That took away from the technical
agree.
spectacle that we were supposed to be.
Unless they were going to get in each other's face, and then it was like, just announce this match is going to be on Dynamite next. Like that's, and Excalibur felt like he was losing like confidence through some of the matches, and I don't know if it was people in the headset or what. He was like, it appears that he just wasn't finishing thoughts. It was really weird, and I think he was like afraid of stepping on somebody, where it was like, let so-and-so comment or let so-and-so comment is probably what was happening. But I don't know. It just felt like he kept getting tasered in the middle of a sentence for like a lot of the show. Or who knows? I kept getting green screens thanks to Amazon Prime, so maybe his audio was just cutting out. So the women's match, I'm going to save that one. Great moment hanging over the ropes for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. It gave me a for the benefits of those a flash photography flashback.
Yes, perfect decision to open the show with that.
Yes,
match.
100%.
One of the best Adam Copeland AEW entrances to date.
Yeah, that was God. It's so much, man. I love pro wrestling. So, Hangman Adam Page, MGF, incredible match. I thought that match was. It might be I don't know if it's my favorite of the night, but it's definitely up there. Tony Storm and Athena,
yes.
Awesome match, man.
Yes, Athena
we knew it would
is
deliver.
So good,
but my goodness,
oh my
goodness,
Tony
she is
Storm
so good.
She is so good, in phenomenal shape. Just an in-ring tactician to the max. I can't wait for the day when, because I've been clear about this on air, Brad, and I don't know if I'm right, but I've been consistent about it. to me, the route to her becoming an AEW Women's Champion is dropping the ROH Championship.
Yeah.
I know she's our forever champion. I know she takes pride in that as a character. But I think once her time in ROH is done, then we can go full speed ahead on her being, maybe the top contender to enter that Mercedes and Tony tier. Because to me, it continues to feel like Mercedes and Tony are at the highest tier of the division, and everyone else is below them. And inherently, when you're champions, you're going to have that. And let me know if I'm tripping, but it just seems like they're just at another level right now. And I think you have several women on the roster who are itching and who are ready to join that tier.
100%.
Whether it's Willow, Chris, Megan Bayne, dare I say Queen Aminata. I was going to say Toni Storm. Toni Storm's already on that tier. Athena is right there, and she proved it again tonight. What a great contest. And Toni Storm is the best character in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tekla and Mercedes. There's a whole bunch of people you could throw. Mina, you could throw her in there. Like there's a bunch of people. If they decide to get Riho or Shida back in there, or if they have visa issues, I'm not sure what's going on there. Alex Windsor, I feel like, is up there. There's just a lot of people. Megan Bayne and Alex Windsor both, like, they're not the technical wrestlers, but like, my goodness, they work their style so well. And
the presence, particularly Megan Bayne, there's something to be said about when you got that presence. It's just a matter of when you're going to be champ.
People are still sleeping on Penelope Ford. I swear to God, like, I don't know why she's not getting
You've been
more moments.
very consistent about
that. I'm glad that she. I don't understand the look, the ability in the ring. I want to see her more. I'm glad Harley Cameron's getting spots. She's got like some hilarious spots in everything she does. I popped when she took off the mask to use it as a weapon. I thought that was a great reveal that she doesn't need it anymore. That was a lot of fun. But I also would love to see, Penelope Ford getting some of those wrestling spots as much as I see Harley Cameron in both those things. I would like to see that more. Kind of like when she was still teaming with Bunny and getting all those moments. But I don't know. There might be some health stuff there. I have absolutely no idea. What do I know? Nothing. That's what. So let's talk about Mercedes. Mercedes Moné makes everybody she's in the ring with look like a megastar, and she is super unselfish. And everybody calls her selfish because she wins all of her matches. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens. I don't understand. I don't understand the complaint. Like, do people not watch sports? When there's a dominant sports team, they win their games. It's weird to be like, why is that dominant person winning all the time? I don't understand. Why is that champion so good? Ugh. It's such a weird way to think about it. I want to go back and count how many bumps she takes compared to her opponent in those matches. Because she got like annihilated the other day. Not even like today, where she was bumping all over the place for those women, making them all look like just monsters and stuff. And it's like, she steals the win because she's just savvy and better than them in all of those other ways. Not just because she's great, but because she outsmarts everybody. And we can say that because she makes everybody look good. And they're like, oh, that really good looking person, that person should have won. And it's like, but they look good because it's a dance, man. Like, come on. She has been doing some of the best work of her career, in my opinion. And we'll talk about probably our favorite work of her career. And on that note, she was recently she did a recording where she was talking to Bayley. I don't know what app it was, but it was like people were engaging and stuff, but it looked like FaceTime. So Twitch time. I don't know what it is. So she was talking to Bayley and they were talking about stuff. And Bayley's like, yeah, I'm specifically going out of my way to go to this event because I want to see Chris Statlander wrestle, because Bayley's a huge Chris Stat fan, as we all are. And Mercedes said, like, my favorite opponents, number one will always be Bayley. But she said after that, she said 2 and 3 are Toni Storm and Chris Statlander. And if we get more of those, yes, please, where she just feels like she can go in there and make magic. Because even if it doesn't work, we just figure it out in the moment. We know exactly what to do from there. Give me a best of 5 series with either of those women against Mercedes. Chris Statlander, Mercedes Moné, best of 5. Who wouldn't want that? And we haven't seen
Right.
one of those in a long time, unless it's like the night of best of 3 pinfalls. But like you could extend it out. You could do a Booker T thing. You could have that over time. You know,
And something tells me we're going to get Willow versus Mercedes. We're going to run that back at some point. I know
Yeah.
it's tough because Willow versus Mercedes it gave me everything I was hoping for and then some. And then you could argue that Mercedes had an even better match with Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
But that's just what Mercedes does. She puts out great matches. And like you said, Brad, I mean, I didn't know that those were the 3 she listed. Those are 3 incredible rivals for Mercedes. And if we can revisit a Willow program in there, I think those matches would be spectacular as well. She makes magic, man. I wonder if we're ready. I don't mean to cut off your idea here. I'm probably doing that. Hearing you give your flowers to the CEO, it makes me wonder if we're ready to have that conversation about Mercedes not being one of the GOATs, but now being irrefutably the GOAT. Is she the greatest? For this conversation, we'll say women's wrestler of all time. For me, it seems like her AEW work has really put her on that next level of, wow, I know it's a subjective question by nature. So much of wrestling fandom is subjective, but the matches she's been turning out and the way that she makes other people shine in these contests,
Yeah.
it really seems unique to. I mean, I think Mercedes has the crown. I think maybe we're ready to just put her as the best.
I don't think that she wouldn't have gotten signed by any stretch eventually. But to my point of Mercedes is just so good that she brings out the best in others and makes them look like $1 million. If that Forbidden Door match doesn't happen last year, where is Stephanie Vauquer right now?
Oh my goodness! You know that changed my life.
Yeah,
We spoke about it last week.
Yeah,
it changed Stephanie's life as well.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I think
She
eventually
finally got
people
a
would be like,
platform
"We
for
gotta."
people to see her.
Yeah, I think people would have been like, "We gotta, you gotta check this woman out. She's incredible." I think that would have happened, but also the fast track would not have happened without Mercedes putting that big spotlight on her and being like, "Yeah, this is the person I want to work with."
And the name ID as well, Brad.
Yeah.
Not only is Mercedes an incredible in-ring worker, inarguably, but the name ID that comes with her. And this match was really interesting at Forbidden Door 2025 because obviously Stephanie Vauquer did not have the name ID now that she did last year. And the other contestants in this match, nowhere near the name ID of Mercedes, but I was pumped. I was so excited to see how she was going to work with these 3 women who all have very different styles. Bozilla, I've never seen her work before. You were excited, so I was excited. Persephone, I think I squinted and saw her on an ROH YouTube thumbnail maybe, and then just forgot to research her further. I will not make that mistake again. She is awesome and reminds me a little bit of Jada Parker. And then Alex Windsor, new to AEW, has really impressed folks. But again, I think being in this match with Mercedes, all 4 women killed it. And I think just the ID, the name recognition of Mercedes is also a big deal. And I think she helped uplift this match, the gravitas of it. I know it wasn't one of the spotlighted matches on the card, but when I tell you, Brad, after this 4-hour extravaganza, this TBS 4-way ended up being one of my favorite matches on the show.
It was a lot of fun, man. I wanted to say, I was trying to look. I thought I saw her. I'm pretty sure she was on that ROH card in February. I just can't remember because there were a lot of people in the CMLL mix that showed up for that card, and I just can't remember all of them. I'll take a look in a little bit, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just making that up in my head, but I was really excited to see her on this card. And Bozilla is somebody that I saw WWE was interested in her a while ago, and this is like 6 months, a year ago. I saw her, looked up her work because I was like, she is awesome, and she needs to get signed because her contract was running up. And I know I sent you a text about it at some point or a message on here or something. We talked about it. It was like, you have to check this person out. That's why I was so excited about it. I was like, holy crap, we got Bozilla. That's amazing. I believe, is it an Austrian wrestler or German wrestler working for Stardom? One of the two.
Right.
But she's an enormous human being. I was a little worried about her when she landed on her dome. When was it? Who was it? Was it Mercedes? I can't remember who.
I think it was Mercedes.
Yeah.
But I also recall Persephone delivering a really cool Hurricane Rana. I forget to who. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think what you're referring to was off of Mercedes.
Yeah.
Bump, but maybe it was the Meteora or tornado
I thought
DDT or something.
I thought it was like a fisherman suplex or something.
It could have been.
I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
There was a lot of action in that match.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Speaking of Hurricane Ranas, I will always pop for Harley's wings on her Hurricane Rana when she spins around 800 times. It's just such a ridiculous thing that they do, and it makes me laugh every time. And I think that's just awesome. That's the best about pro wrestling, right? We got all the serious stuff, but then we get all this silly, goofy stuff. And sometimes we get a little bit of both. One of the people that might show up, Tyler, eventually here, Orange Cassidy. It's another person in the company that would certainly help things if we have other stars that are missing, particularly on the men's side, because the women's roster is loaded. And maybe this is a time where we lean into that and go, all right, we're going to focus on the women for all of these cards instead of the men. And I think maybe that changes the industry a little bit. I think that could be something really positive, at least in the 2-hour show place. But speaking of women in the industry, Tyler, it's time for Back in the Day. I can't wait for you to lead us in. We did not discuss this ahead of time, but as soon as I saw it on here, I thought, I know what I want to bring up, and I already know you're going to talk about it. Bayley versus Sasha, Brooklyn Takeover turns 10. Play the music.
And now it's time to get old school. Prepare yourselves for Back in the Day.
This was one of those where I knew that we didn't need to discuss ahead of time. I just threw it on the Google Doc, and I knew we would be just fine. Brad, it's been a decade. I want to rewind the clock, since this is Back in the Day, all the way back to 2015. The top song on the Billboard charts was Uptown Funk, and a moment for Uptown Funk. And the highest grossing domestic film was Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Barack Obama was wrapping up his second term, and I graduated from college. We would go on to meet a year later. Now, from a wrestling standpoint, 2015 is best known for one of the greatest matches in NXT history, Bayley versus Sasha Banks at TakeOver Brooklyn. I say this, Brad, as I look behind my computer, and I have a poster of this match. I love this match. I can't wait to relive it with you right now. The rivalry, the Sasha entrance, Bayley's top rope poison Rana into the Bayley to belly for the win to become champ. Countless wrestlers have cited this match as the one that inspired them to pursue a career in wrestling. Brad, how do you view this match a full decade later?
I'm still thinking about how Bayley got her hand stomped and actually messed up in that spot. Like, it was actually messed up her hand. I think it was her hand, not her wrist, right? I can't remember. It was one of the two things. Some part of her arm.
It looked vicious. I remember the moment.
Well, one of the things that I think is this card. This wasn't even the main event. It was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, wasn't it?
I think it was,
or Kevin Owens and
Finn Balor in a ladder match.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right. It was Finn.
Right. No one talks about that match. No shade.
No.
To KO and Finn.
And it was a good
But-
match. It was a good main event.
This match has stood the test of time.
It changed everything.
It changed everything.
It changed everything because, yes, there was really good women's wrestling still happening in the WWE, but it wasn't this. It wasn't, let's take this as seriously as the men. Let's present it with the amount of time the men get. Let's make people go like, yeah, you got to respect these people. And I think it's, kind of showed over the decade where on WWE Unreal on Netflix, there's the behind the scenes thing where, or maybe it wasn't Unreal, maybe it was something else, but it was Triple H talking to somebody backstage saying, we just have all these women that are incredible. And it's like, they're better than the men. We have way more women that are just way better than the men that are walking around backstage. We just have like an abundance of riches right now in the main company, on the main roster, and in NXT. It's just like we have incredible women wrestlers everywhere. And now we have Bayley and we have Sasha Mercedes, who are still wrestling at a high level when they're on TV. Give Bayley something to do, please. And not just something, give her something meaningful and more. I think what's happening is that we're starting to see the people that grew up, and we have watching them, like Roxanne, and we have all these wrestlers coming up that are in the WWE now. They're like, you're my hero, and you started this for me, and you inspired me to be a wrestler. Why? Because I can trace it back to this match. This match showed me that I could. It's pretty incredible. It's a landmark moment in wrestling history, pro wrestling history, and I hope that both of these women are still respected, because I think you mentioned is Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, Mercedes Varnado. Is she going to be viewed as one of the GOATs?
Are we ready
just
to have that conversation based on what we've already seen? I
am. And I think people that are pro wrestling fans would definitely want to go like, yeah, she's definitely in the conversation right now. I think that so many people have created WWE as a synonym for professional wrestling. All the casual fans, they'd be like, oh, that looks like WWE stuff. Is that WWE stuff? And it's like, well, it's professional wrestling, not WWE.
You and I hear it all the time.
Oh,
especially at school, at work. Oh,
yeah.
you watch WWE, you're into WWE. Well,
yeah.
Wrestling, but
wrestling.
Yes, WWE
Yes,
is a part of that.
So I think,
right.
You're
into that WWE stuff.
Right. And there's people that like, we can't like discredit Toyota's work in Japan. And we can't, there's so many people that,
absolutely,
came before the WWF belt ended up in the trash can. Before that, when women were still wrestling and Bull Nakano was out there, and like, right. It's just like incredible.
Mildred Burke, the first $1 Million athlete. I saw that movie last year, I want to say. I have no idea. The Aja Kongs of the world. I mean, so many trailblazers.
Exactly. So
Jacqueline Moore.
There's so many. Oh, Miss Jackie. Yeah, Miss Jacqueline, man.
But from an in-ring standpoint,
Blaze,
what Sasha
Blaze.
Banks, Mercedes Moné has given us over the last 10 years, I mean, it's just undeniable.
100%. 100%. It makes me wonder what it would look like if we wouldn't have had that pause where Vince was like, no, we're not going to do this. And to counter program, WCW pivoted to just have Nitro girls instead of women's wrestling. And then over in the WWF, we had pudding matches. Right. To have that slowly transition out into something better and better, to end up at this, to where we are now, where that's the norm and the expectation, and still the standard and the blueprint. They're role models. Like those things are still out of this match. I can't say enough. And it's one of the I guess the linchpin moments of our friendship is kind of bonding over this. Like, you have to see this match. I had not seen it, and it was like, this match is like one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. How is this something that it wasn't in the news on every like digital platform? Because I don't want to say cover page of a newspaper because I'm 43 and I feel old already. But how did not more people know about this? That's it.
Yeah, Sean Mooney should have been leading the 6 o'clock news on KVOA Tucson with this.
Yes,
come on, Sean. We know your background. Bring it to the mainstream. Hey, Brad, the way you summarized it, this is for sure going to be a caption on social this week. Production team, make sure you clip this. It changed everything. It is the match that changed everything.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add, man. Well said. We got to talk AEW. We already did that. We got to talk WWE.
We switched it up.
We flipped it up. I'm so confused. I'm all flustered. I was like, we got to talk AEW, but wait a second. We don't.
Got to keep people on their toes.
AEW first is weird. Okay, WWE. We got to talk WWE.
Yeah, that we do, Brad. So I want to lean right into it. Speaking of big events, Clash in Paris is this Sunday, another matinee show for those of us here on the West Coast. Kickoff time, I believe, is at 11 a.m. Arizona. Brad, I'm going to get right into my question. What have you thought of the build to this show, and which match are you most excited for? And I'll just run down for our audience here, because if you're like me, you had to look this up ahead of time. I did not go just based on memory. I knew
Pulling it up as we speak.
Yes. I knew about the artwork, the Vincent van Gogh Starry Night that they're leaning into for the show, which at first I was like, do I like this? And then I think I actually do. I know Roman Reigns has been front and center on a lot of the promotion, but as of this recording, there are only 4 matches currently advertised for the show. I'm sure we're at least a 5th before we get to Sunday. Those matches are the aforementioned OTC 1, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Get this, Sheamus versus Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. John Cena versus Logan Paul, and Seth Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knights in a fatal 4-way. Once again, Brad, thoughts on the build to this show, and which match are you most looking forward to?
What build?
Damn.
I don't have thoughts
Answering
about
the question with the question.
having thoughts about something that's practically non-existent. Not a lot.
Lackluster.
Now the feuds and stuff. Okay, yeah, those have been building. Roman and the Shula Fala, that's been a thing for a while now. I think that'll be fun. It'll be a good moment for Bronson Reed to get some shine and look good in a match against arguably the biggest star in the company still.
Yeah. He's losing, but
100%.
Good moment for him. Great moment for him.
It doesn't mean that Roman's not going to get beat down afterward. I'm sure that'll happen. Sheamus versus Rusev. Okay. All right. It'll be cool, I guess, because they're France adjacent. So let's get the European guys in there to mix it up in a Donnybrook match in France.
You know my love for Sheamus. We spoke about it weeks ago. I miss the Redeemer. I miss Miro.
The Redeemer is the best character. Rusev sucks. Rusev's character doesn't make sense.
Miro was something different. I feel like they could replicate that in WWE,
easily,
but instead we're doing this.
It's not good, and he could have. Like this is the best man version of Miro coming out here as Rusev. It's just,
shout out Kip Sabian as well. Glad that he got on Forbidden Door too.
Yeah, he got beat up for like a good 15 minutes.
Yeah, even by his partner, the artist formerly known as Luchasaurus. Like, man, happy for Kip though. I agree. I actually, is it a hot take to say that I like the best man gimmick more than current Rusev?
No, at least he was laughing while hossing people through video game equipment. Like, I'll take that. I just like he just seems very just meh. Like I don't know what the hang up is. I think maybe him having to make something so terrible work when Vince McMahon was in charge of creative forced him to make it work. And now that he doesn't have to make it work the way he did before, just to survive, maybe that's it. Maybe he needs that drive. But like if creative is offering him that, that's what he's getting. So I just think it's that like he doesn't suck. His wrestling's great. We know what he can do. It's just like I'm not really invested in this because I don't really care about that character.
Right.
Where Sheamus should be going after the Intercontinental Championship again because it's the only one he hasn't won. It's the one title that he should be trying to get all the time.
We got to get that reign.
Yeah.
And there's a clear ceiling on this Rusev character.
Yeah.
I didn't see a ceiling for Redeemer Rusev.
Neither.
Mind you, it ended up being the TNT title, and that was that. But that character just gave me, this dude could easily become world champ and have a 5 to 6 month reign. I think he still has that in him, but currently he's just several. I know tiers. It's kind of been my word of this episode, but he's just several tiers below challenging the top people on the card, which maybe those were unrealistic expectations for me with Rusev coming back because you got Cody, you got John Cena, you got Roman Reigns, you got CM Punk, you got Seth Rollins. I get there's only a certain amount of spots, but I just want to see more out of the Rusev character. I
agree, and I feel the same way as I'm looking at this card going, still no Aleister Black. Just a thought there. We also have John Cena versus Logan Paul. Don't care. We got
I could care less.
The only one on here I'm really looking forward to here is the Fatal 4-Way.
Yes.
It's going to hump.
Yes.
I'm sure Sheamus versus Rusev is going to be a lot of fun. I'm just not invested, which sucks. I know Logan Paul versus John Cena is going to have at least one or two crazy spots in it. But that's it. You know, like I'm not really after that. I'm like, that'll be cool. Like Logan Paul will do some freakishly athletic thing.
100%. We got 10 John Cena dates left. Speaking of careers winding down, we know definitively for John Cena, there is an endpoint and it's coming up soon. Yeah. So if I catch that 4-way, I'll be really excited. If I don't catch anything else, I will catch that 4-way and I'll be really excited. What's the women's match on this card? Naomi. Oh, by the way, shout out to Naomi. We spoke about this last week. There is no women's match on this card at the moment. Correct. Her and Jimmy Uso expected. Wanted to help out. She relinquished her championship, so I still believe La Primera in our background here, in my background, La Primera Steph Laquer is poised to become the next champ. I wonder if maybe Clash in Paris is when we get the beginning of a tournament to crown, dare I say, who earns the right to face Steph Laquer for that title. Maybe Tiffany Stratton will pop up. It's just interesting that we don't have a women's match announced yet.
I
Maybe
think
this is a place for Charlotte and Alexa Bliss to.
They'll put something up on Raw, I'm sure, to get that women's match on there.
Yeah, Roxanne's been killing it with her work, and you got a potential Asuka heel turn. Io's arguably had the best in-ring work of anyone on the roster this whole year, so I would love 2 women's matches on this card.
They could do a triple threat match, since they already have a fatal 4-way, and be like, Stephanie Vaquer is going to win the winner of these 2 people on Raw and these 2 people on SmackDown, and then that's the match for the championship at Clash. I think that's probably the move, because then you have creative for 2 nights, and it builds toward that. I would be down for that because, well, one, we're getting Stephanie Vaquer, but right now I'm like, it's just. Which match has the most steam storyline wise? Probably Roman and Bronson Reed about his shoes, and that's certainly a thing that's on there. It's like they're going to fight because of shoes. Sheamus and Rusev are going to fight because they've been fighting. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight. There's a whole bunch of stories in there. That one has got depth, and I'm interested to see what happens in there. And who knows, that one I think Seth retains, but I also could see one of them walking away with it, and I don't know which one. I don't think it'll be anybody but LA Knight if it happens, and I think LA Knight would have a very short run, but I think that would be cool if he won. He certainly got the people behind him enough where I think it would be a financially successful run. So, but after that, it's like John Cena, Logan Paul. It's cool for Paris to get to see John Cena in a match and Logan Paul doing cool athletic stuff. But after that, I think everybody just wants to see John Cena do an STFU and call it a night.
Yeah, agreed. And this show is a reminder of how big of a star Roman Reigns is. He is the poster for this event, and he is. I mean, you could say he's in a consequential match. I should give Bronson Reed and the Chula Fala more credit, but I envision that match likely opening the show, and Roman just getting an absolutely incredible reception as he does in every city, town, province they go to. This is really what the Roman Reigns character was, who he was built to be from the very beginning. This babyface we root for, who kicks a lot of ass, and we just lose our minds every time we see him. He's just cool. And I'm grateful that we got the Tribal Chief run. I mean, speaking about matches or characters that changed everything, that certainly did, especially for the business of WWE. It's fascinating to me now that probably in a similar timeline, 2015, 10 years later, this is who WWE wanted Roman Reigns to be this entire time. And now we're here where he just pops up, and again, people just lose it. He could be on the poster being well removed from a title. He's in this one-on-one match with Bronson Reed that he's clearly going to win. And yet he is the poster. He is a draw. So it's interesting to me that, speaking of what's aged well from 2015 to now, the idea, the goal, the dream of Roman Reigns being a universally beloved babyface, we finally got to that point. He doesn't have to work as many dates as he used to back in 15. What a time to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it's incredible. And to your point, like, I feel really good about I think I said it already, but I feel really good about Bronson Reed getting that spot. I think it's cool how they've been building that character up. That's really exciting, but also whatever. They're fighting over shoes. They're fighting
over Jordans.
There's no real stakes other than, like, I'm better than you, I guess. Whatever. I mean, that's pro wrestling, right? Like the whole thing is like, I want to be better than you. Yeah. I would have preferred, like, I don't think you're that good. I think that I'm better than you. That would have done it for me. Instead, we're fighting over shoes. So, I don't know. Moving on, Tyler. Okay, I never know how to react to segments. Naomi and Jimmy announced their pregnancy on congratulations to them, by the way, on a tune into this other product clip from Stephanie McMahon's podcast, but they appeared as themselves. Jimmy even referred to her as Trin. I think wrestling is best when storylines and real life blend together. I think you and I agree about that when we're not sure what's real and what's written. This segment accomplished a write-off for the character, a promotion for another product, and what is essentially a face turn for the character, even though she'll be out of action for a very long time. Naomi's character shift started when they wrote off Jade for an injury, though. Okay, that was storyline. Naomi's character is written off for non-storyline, life-happening reasons as her actual self, Trinity. So Tyler, what's your preference? Is it write the character off through storyline, or is it acknowledge the script and do a bit of both and confuse the audience? Which one do you like more?
When you put it like that,
you can leave out the last part because that was just for me.
Yeah. Subjective. Yeah. I do enjoy when we get those real life moments, particularly when it's reasons to be celebratory versus I'm concerned about Will Ospreay's neck or Swerve Strickland's knee or Kenny 100%. Omega's general health. Obviously for Naomi, this is, like you pointed out, incredibly exciting. And, often, Brad, we speak about all these wrestlers whose work we love. And then there's this other element of wrestlers who are openly cheered and beloved by their colleagues. And Naomi, Trinity Fatu, seems to be one of those people. Just salt of the earth. No one ever has a bad thing to say about her. I love that TNA run she had as Trinity to show WWE and anyone who doubted her that she has drawing power, that she's great in the ring, and she just presents something different and can reach fan bases that perhaps wrestling major companies have neglected for far too long. Yeah. What do I prefer? So, of course, character, storyline-wise, that are cohesive and make sense would be my preference. In the case of the Naomi promo, like you said, I think the audience sort of suspected this is what it could be. It could be a pregnancy announcement. Mm-hmm. So even though Naomi's been a heel character and the proceed with caution line is getting over, in this promo, she kind of went back and forth a little bit between, she started out as the character, but then went into Trinity Fatu, the person that had this announcement, and then credit to her. Until
Adam Pearce came out.
Yeah, credit to her and her artistry to go right back into the character of, hey, I'm not like, y'all got 9 months and then I'm going to come back and blah, blah, blah. I thought that was really cool.
It was so good.
And went, like you said, went back and forth in between, and maybe she just did it once or twice, but character versus real life person who I want to root for, back to character who nearly committed homicide on Jade, another member of the roster. I prefer when it's character driven and when it makes storyline sense, but when you do have these examples of salt of the earth people who just seem beloved and respected and just seem like they're great, that's when I tend to have a little more leniency, because I just enjoy seeing them. And for Naomi to have this big life moment, and if their child decides to pursue the business one day, this just ensures we're getting bloodline storylines, until you and I are thinking about retiring from the state of Arizona. Hopefully we reach that day at some point. That's also pretty cool too, that she mentioned on air, by the way, hey, the bloodline continues, ha ha ha. I don't know that she's really directly mentioned her connection to the bloodline on screen. I don't think so before, either. Yeah. But that's a whole other element of, at some point, maybe we get Naomi leaning into that bloodline. Maybe their child ends up being, the next world champion in WWE. So there's a lot of elements here.
Named Solo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do prefer maybe their child and Liberty Rhodes are going to be running WWE one day.
Solo and Liberty, yeah.
I do appreciate when we can do in character wise, but then there are just these examples of people who just seem tremendous out of the ring and off screen, and I just love them being happy.
You know what? I actually agree with you for this one, because I didn't think we were going to agree here, but like it's the happy news of why you're getting written off is the part that I'm like, okay, I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah. It's just really tough when the biggest storyline for her character this year was the teaming with Bianca, and then the murder of Jade Cargill, and then Jade coming back at Elimination Chamber to kill Naomi.
Straight up.
It's all of that happened as a way to write off a character in that story. But then we don't do that when it's time to write off a character from a story. I mean, it's cool to acknowledge it. And we got it with Becky. I'm glad they didn't just give away the title and go like, you're the champ now, kind of like what happened with Becky. Not that Asuka didn't deserve that, but it's still, that was a different time. That was a wild time, man. Oof, pandemic era. Oof, PC Jones. But I think it's like, I think it was good. I actually loved the entire clip. I thought it was a good marketing strategy by them to include Stephanie's podcast, which is a very good podcast.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that in the interview. Yeah, how they... Granted, I have no interest in listening to Stephanie McMahon podcast, but I can recognize savvy promotion.
She's pretty good at it, man. Like, she's pretty good at that. And beloved by almost everybody. It's the other stuff that makes me go, I don't know if I want to click this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
I like a healthy Department of Education. No, for sure. Your point about Stephanie is well taken, and the way they were able to interweave that just really speaks to the business of WWE right now with this ESPN deal. And I didn't realize the sheer slew of podcasts they have under their umbrella. They were promoting it. You got Stephanie McMahon on Monday. You got Logan Paul Impulsive. I'm not going to listen to that either. But you got Logan Paul Impulsive on Tuesday. You got Undertaker 6 Feet Under. I'm not going to listen to that either. But you got Undertaker 6 Feet Under on Wednesday and Cody Rhodes. What do you want to talk about on Thursday? I'm like, wow, WWE really has their hands in.
And let's not forget,
so many cookie jars.
Booker T has a podcast. Corey Graves has a podcast.
Right.
There's like Mark Henry is doing stuff over in Busted Open.
And
I don't know. Is he WWE? I don't even know if he's doing anything.
You got the manifest destiny of there's AAA. We own AAA now, and we have a show next month at UNLV's campus. Yeah. You got WrestlePalooza coming up next month. Not 2026, but the migration to ESPN is happening in just a few weeks. It really just speaks to the business savvy, and we just know business is really good for WWE. Brad, if anything, these ticket prices for SmackDown in Tempe in October and Raw in Glendale in December, if ticket prices are evidence of anything, business is good and fans are willing to pay. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be attending either show, but the product is still very much in demand right now. And as evidenced by the Naomi segment, the way they're able to interweave and just, okay, if you want to hear the full story and hear the full interview, after Raw, check out Stephanie's place. And it's really a different era for WWE, and the way they're able to navigate between these different mediums at the rate and at the level they're able to. Frankly, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the sheer volume of content they're pooping out is crazy.
NXT Heatwave.
Crazy.
NXT Heatwave is happening right now as we record.
The stuff on, like, what is it, A&E, AMC, right. Whatever it was, one of the LFG, A channels.
Evolve. There's a lot.
All the stuff on Netflix. Like, there's just so many different things.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just miss the network. Okay,
Me
Tyler.
Me too. 2015. I didn't mention that during Sasha and Bayley.
Almighty.
Simpler times. For reason number one, we still had the WWE Network in our lives.
And you could click the episode of Raw, and you could go to the matches. And
$9.99 a month. Period.
It was so much better. Tyler, what did we miss?
What did we miss? Okay, I have several notes here that I want to get your thoughts on. First, Kobe Bryant's 47th birthday would have occurred, I believe, this weekend. Obviously, legendary figure. I just had a conversation with a student because we have a Kobe poster in the classroom. Shout out to my amazing parents for that. I had a young lady who told me Kobe Bryant is her favorite player of all time.
That's
so it just got me to think, man, Kobe's legacy is one that I wish you were around to see, and yet it's it looms large over the game and for hoopers of all ages and backgrounds across the world. So Kobe's 47th. The legacy continues on. Mamba mentality. College football is back, Brad. Can Kenny Dillingham, Sam Levitt, and the guys repeat the success of last year's historic season? Of course, I'm referring to Arizona State University here. They host NAU this weekend. Now, down your way in Tucson, Brent Brennan returns for his second season as head coach at the University of Arizona. Brad Winchester, I say this as a proud Wildcat, it simply can't get much worse than how last season went. Noah Fafita is back at QB1. We shall see. They host Hawaii this weekend. Final two notes, R&B corner. Mariah the Scientist released her fourth album, Heart Sold Separately. It's very good. And then finally, on a wrestling note, the Arizona Wrestling Federation presents its annual Overdrive show on Saturday night at Bullshooters in Phoenix.
Such a funny name.
It's going to be an experience. I can't wait for next week when you give your Bullshooters recap. We'll be in the building. Cedric Alexander, Priscilla Kelly, Matt Cardona, and TNA Zaya Brookside are all scheduled for the show. Of course, we're rooting for Arizona's own Fallen Gray. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get up there and do that. Okay, I wrote down some notes from the show. I don't have a lot of what we missed. I just wanted to say that Will Ospreay mouthing, "I'm going to miss you guys" before the beatdown really got to me, man. Like, I was like, oh, this is really sad. But on a happier note, I thought it was also a great nod. Shout out to Tony Khan and all the people involved in creative for Forbidden Door to make sure that the pin happened because of Tanahashi, and kind of honor him and his legacy. I just thought that was a really great moment because as soon as he started climbing that turnbuckle, the crowd knew what was about to happen. They were like, this is probably it for us. And we got to see it the one last time. And was it his best ever? No, it was not. Was it still awesome? Hell yeah, it was. That was just really, really cool. Awesome moment. Great way to end that match. Not my favorite way to end the show, but I thought that all of that was just like there was a lot of emotions at Forbidden Door tonight. I can't wait to go on the timeline to see what people think about the show, but that's all I got for the week, Tyler. You are so muted. Embrace the mess.
I was muted there. What I was saying, even though you couldn't.
If you saw it on YouTube, it was full energy. It was glorious.
I've never done that before, too. That's interesting now that we're 200 and something episodes in.
I believe this will be 51 by the time we get this up.
Yeah, we're still learning. We're still growing. That being said, in case you haven't heard, you can follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and more. We would love to know your thoughts.
We definitely didn't hear it. Yeah.
We would love to know your thoughts on the week in pro wrestling and pop culture here on YouTube, in the comments. We'd love your thoughts, again, on social. We so appreciate your reviews, ideally 5-star reviews on your audio platform of choice. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great week, and we will see you next time. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.